Oh, got it. Okay. All right.
Hey, this is the Corey Maselli Show with the sexy Viking Matthias Bergstrom Anderson, and we have a phenomenal guest today, Vince Anello. Vince, want to say hello to the millions of people out there listening?
Hey, guys. How are you doing? This is, my name is Vince Anello, but my nickname is Vindog.
Vindog.
Vindog. I have 5 greyhounds.
Quick background on Vindog. Correct me if necessary. Okay. World champion powerlifter.
Yes.
World record holder in how many weight classes at one time?
I had 3 different weight classes at one time during my career.
And if I recall, 181, 198, and 220. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And just by memory, your numbers, I believe you pulled around 850 at 220.
Yeah.
821 at 198.
Yes.
And 780-ish, something like that at 181.
Yeah, around 780. Correct. Yes.
Yeah, just absolutely. Those are great numbers for a super heavyweight. So it's just like absolutely incredible. Like as a competitor, if you were competing today with those numbers, they'd be like upper echelon numbers. And like, so, my mind's blown. If I recall, you were when you first pulled 800 plus, you were the lightest athlete to do that, hit that 800 benchmark, correct?
I was first person in history to pull over 800 weighing under 200 pounds. Yes.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. And there's a rumor you pulled like 400 kilos or something like that in training. Is that accurate?
When I was training at Vince's gym with Vince Lewicki, I made an attempt at 750, and then we put 800 on. Then I wanted to take 820. So we took 820, and I made 820. I thought. He says, you know what the weight was? We went and weighed, it was 780.
Oh, 780 or 880?
880.
880, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, 880. I pulled 880, and I didn't know what was. I thought it was 820. If I didn't know it was 80, I wouldn't have possibly pulled.
That's a common theme of the show is like the power of belief and belief in yourself. And I think that's a testament to it. As you just said, if you'd have known it was 880, you might not even attempted it, but you didn't know any better, so you went ahead and freaking torqued the thing up.
Yeah,
that's like pretty radical.
Yeah.
What was like, okay, so what was the approximate, like, what were the years where you were doing these numbers, Vince?
Okay, I started lifting around in the late 60s, and I won my first world title in 1972.
Wow. That's the year I was born. That makes you feel better.
You're a youngster.
Kind of.
Yeah, and then I won my world titles in 72, 70, 78, and 80 and 85.
Wow, that's badass, man.
Yeah, I was world champion 5 times, actually.
Yeah, congrats on that. Huge. And like, could you like the whole scene in powerlifting today? There's a multitude of federations, like meets in every state, multiple meets every weekend. It seems like. When you were winning those world championships, it was like pretty much like that was the like world championships, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Single, world, we didn't have that many federations in the day.
Right. Well, okay. I've kind of considered myself kind of an in-betweener. I'm not like certainly no modern power lifter, although I did compete in kind of the modern era. And but I consider you guys, like you, Bill Kazmaier, Doug, or Don Pope, Doug Young, Ernie Franz. You guys are like the OGs, man. They're like the original gangsters of powerlifting. Where it wasn't that fancy. I don't know, like Larry Pacifico. I don't mean to like slight anybody. There's like a whole host of like supercharged athletes in your era, and you guys like set the tone, man. You guys put up huge numbers. I know the equipment wasn't that fancy. You didn't have a bunch of Excel spreadsheets with 35 exercises and undulating periodized waves and all this crazy stuff people talk about nowadays. I'd like to kind of like dig into like understand what you guys were absolutely fierce competitors, no doubt. Would you say that was like the driving force of what your training was also, just pure competition? Or did you guys have like programs and templates that you followed back then? Like, help us understand what your training looked like.
I journaled all my training. I
Sure.
journal story, but I had so many different routines out there that I tried. The common denominator of success in anything, in any sport, in anything, is the mind. I did a lot of psychology was my minor in college, and I sober mind training, transcendental meditation, and I did various forms of programming into my mind,
That's
achieving.
awesome, man.
Let me tell you, I went in 1978. I hurt my back really bad, and the squat. I had trouble warming up with 400.
Okay.
The deadlift. So what I did, I made a 700, I think, opener, and that was when kind of hard. And to win, I needed a world record. So I went in the back room and I put myself in like a trance, like I use. I don't remember going out there. I think they had help carry me out there, and I could hardly walk. And I went out there and pulled. And I don't remember doing it.
What was the weight you pulled that day, Vince?
815.
Holy smoke, man!
And I couldn't walk.
Yeah, I mean the power of the mind, man. The power of belief is so gosh darn strong. I'll share a quick story with you, Vince. I'd like to get your feedback on this. I was a college football player and also a college student, kind of. But one of the classes I had was a volleyball coaching class, and part of the curriculum was design a template for the coaching curriculum for the entire season, and I included like basically what you talked about, like meditation and visualization, preparing the mind for high performance. And the professor actually marked me down because that professor at that time thought that was an absolute waste of time. But I think I maybe even read an article about you doing that in Powerlifting USA or something.
Yes.
They kind of like encourage that kind of thought process. So, I mean, give me your commentary on that. Like I was probably cutting edge, and I doubt other people were doing that. So like the visualization, the belief, like getting in the right kind of mindset. I'm going to turn the mic over to you and shut up and just let you talk about that.
Okay. The mindset, the mental mindset is a common denominator for success in anything. You know what I mean? And there are various forms of, mental training too. What I do, I have a gym now, Anello Body Fitness, and I train my clients not just physically, but mentally. I put them in a relaxed state and had to visualize their goal. And then, I've helped clients lose a lot of body fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've helped my high school athletes and high school college players. I help them perform better in their sports, any sport,
Sure.
And when I was in college, psychology was my minor. And this one demonstration I saw, they put this guy in a relaxed state, and they said, "This is the strongest alcohol you'll ever drink." He drank the alcohol, and he got so drunk. Oh my God, did he get drunk? You know what it was? Water.
Yeah, man, that power of belief is something else, bro.
Wow. Yes. So I concentrated just as much on mental training as I did on physical training when I was, when I was lifting.
Yeah. I got a question. Like, what? Obviously, there's some type of procedure or process to create that like relaxed state, as you refer to it.
Yeah.
Like, can you help us understand what the procedure is that you recommend to like get your mind in that type of like mindset?
I would get in a relaxed state, and I would see myself achieving what I wanted. All three forms of motivation. Then I would hear what I would hear after I achieved it. What would I be saying to myself? What would my other people be saying to me? And then I felt it. I felt myself achieving. When I could feel it, I gave myself a trigger, like a clenched fist. A clenched fist was a trigger. Every time you clench your fist, you would feel yourself achieving what you wanted. I do that with my clients when they want to lose body fat. I have them visualize as eating healthy, really healthy, and looking the way they wanted and feeling themselves in it. And then I have them clench their fist. I have them do it before they go to sleep. I have them do it when they wake up and before they eat anything. If you want to really lose body fat and you clench your fist and you see yourself and you feel yourself getting into that best shape, you're less apt to eat junk foods, right?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And I don't get them into losing weight. It doesn't make any, well, how much weight you, because it's how much body fat you lose. Who is the greatest weight loss guru in history? Who helped more people lose weight than anybody else?
Oh, Richard Simmons, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, Adolf Hitler.
Ha! Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I guess I got that one.
But you want body fat. He would starve people and they lose a lot of weight. That's not what you want. You want to lose body fat. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure there's like, probably a deeper level thing that kicks into gear, like, the unexplainable aspect of like what your body like following through and like achieving that goal you have set. I don't know. It's such a deep level thing. It's kind of hard to put into words, really.
Let me tell you how you want to know how I started lifting?
Yeah, I do want to know.
Okay. I was a short, when I was in elementary school, I was a short little fat kid who got bullied. I got bullied and I was put it on Facebook. My parents put me in this, summer camp, and I would get treats and everything. And I would go, and, a short little fat walk out there. They'd steal my treats and throw me in a creek. And I got a magazine. I started reading about weight training. And I started, before my parents got me a barbell set in elementary school, I went into the woods, got some bricks and put it on a rusty steel bar. And I started doing exercises in third grade, and I never stopped. I would visualize myself. I would feel myself being a strong person. You know what I say now? Thank God for the bullies.
Yeah, that's an incredible story, Vince.
Into my life, because I may not have won. I overcompensated. I used to visualize myself as being strong as a little child. And I never stopped training. I never stopped training. I'm in third grade. I never stopped training.
Yeah, that story's huge. And like a theme of our show, Vince, is like overcoming everything.
Yeah.
Please elaborate. Any detail you can share with the audience, and like, anything, any encouragement or advice you can give me and the rest of our listeners would be like super appreciated.
Yeah, you got to get that goal. Get a goal in your mind. You have to see yourself achieving it, hear yourself achieving it, and feel it. Feel it. And then allow it to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do.
Like they let go and let God. Let go and let the universe handle it then. Right. And you'll be led.
It's kind of interesting. I had a conversation with my cousin recently just about, life direction and accomplishing things. And I don't know if he even intentionally said it this way, but he basically said, set your goals and the resources will appear based on the goals that you set, is the gist of what he said. So that kind of ties into your approach, I would say.
Yes, definitely. You got to get that goal, feel it, and then allow it to happen. If you try too hard, if you analyze it, this will be, like, when you're competing, you got, when you're training, you got to watch your form and everything. But when you're competing, you got to just let go. If you analyze it, it's going to hurt your performance. One of the competitors that in a world team, I won't give his name, but he used to use that technique. He used to go, if he was competing against you, he'd say, "Man, Corey, your form looks a little off. What are you doing wrong?" He'd get you. He'd activate your analytical mind, would throw off your performance. Actually, Corey, when I made my world records, I don't remember what I did going up there.
Wow.
I don't remember what I did. I just I was in a trance.
Yeah, I can relate. Look, let me share this with you, Vince, because I mean, you're by far and away like way more of an accomplished powerlifter than I ever was. My claim to fame, so to speak, I did hit a 910 deadlift, which I think is pretty awesome.
It's
But
great.
I remember that, like, not necessarily intentionally following your process, but I remember like flipping through the records and seeing that there was a Russian gentleman that owned obviously sumo deadlift is not, there's not differentiation between it, but
Yeah.
the number one sumo deadlift and number one overhand deadlift was held by a Russian gentleman. And I remember Ernie Franz playing the thought in my head that I could be a top level deadlifter as a younger football player. So I remember standing in my bathroom that day and like literally like kind of seeing myself hit that 910 sumo deadlift with a double overhand deadlift.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, that is what I actually achieved. And
That's
I
great.
never, it was crazy. Just
Yeah.
kind of what you said is like exactly the process that I think led me to actually set that record.
That's great lifting, Corey. You were one of the top lifters.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm nowhere near the category of you. You spanned freaking years and years and were a top performer for a long time. I had a little spurt of time where I was a pretty good lifter, so I'm not anywhere near the category of you. But
Oh,
that actual lift was pretty good. I will take credit for that.
We're all brothers and sisters in the world's strongest sport.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
The world's strongest sport.
Right. Tell if I got a couple questions for you. Who are some of the people you competed against that you like have good memories or fond memories or interesting, unique stories about?
Oh, everybody I competed against was, one guy that really inspired me when I was lifting was Larry Pacifico.
Okay, could you now? I mean, a lot of lifters these days probably don't know the history of the sport. I happen to know quite a bit about it, but if you can kind of like maybe break it down to like tell us about Larry Pacifico, some of his accomplishments, what he was like as a competitor, and that sort of thing. I think some of the younger athletes out there would probably get a kick out of hearing that.
Oh man, when I used to read about Larry, he was my hero back in the day when I started lifting. And he was a good friend of mine. He taught me a lot, lifting techniques and that. And when I opened my business 20 some years ago, he actually helped me how to open my business too.
Cool. Do you remember? My brain tells me Larry benched, as I recall, like 573 and 220. Does that sound right?
In a bench press?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Corey, a lot of things that happened before what I did, I don't remember. I'm going to be 75 this year.
Oh, sure. Well, I just kind of want to just I just want to give a perspective for some of.
Memory's not as good as it used to be. That was my, probably my weakest spot in my mind. No.
That's funny. But like the numbers you guys were, I'm telling you, like your guys' heyday back in the 70s, you guys could jump in and compete in today's like competitions, win a lot of them, and be right up there at the world's best, which is kind of unique because if you look at most sports, there's been like a real like a huge like what's what I'm looking for, like a huge gap or a huge like trajectory forward in measurable performances, track and field, whatever the case is. And you guys were putting up numbers back then that were stood the test of time, no doubt.
Yeah. Who like Eamon Toll from England was a great lifter. Unta Hankinen from Finland, really good guys. You know what I mean? And we would, we were friends. We're still friends now. And after we competed, we went out. We go out and joke around and have food together. We were really good friends, not just competitors, but good friends.
Right. So do you remember some of the numbers the guys were? I'm going to tell you some of the numbers I remember. I remember and again, there was no differentiation at some point in time. There was no supportive equipment. All powerlifting was raw lifting,
Yeah.
and then eventually some kind of like supportive suit came out. But generally speaking, it was all raw powerlifting before the phrase raw powerlifting was even invented, correct?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And I think I remember Don Reinhardt squatting like 900 or 900 something.
Oh, Don was a great lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you remember some of it? Again, a 900 plus squat. Do you remember some of his other lifts?
Dave Waddington, the first to squat 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Great lifting.
Right. And did you guys have any like special bars or any? What was the equipment like when you guys were in your heyday of competing?
Where I trained, we had a power rack. We had a power rack with pins and everything. You know what I mean? And we didn't have. I would do partials, and my main thing in deadlift would really help my deadlift, Corey, was negative accentuated deadlifts.
Okay.
I would take the bar off the rack and do a slow negative, and then dead stop at the bottom, then do the deadlift. And I did that throughout. And when I stopped doing that, my deadlift wasn't as good. Negative accentuated deadlift, where I concentrate on the negative also.
Wow. I've heard some of the other old school guys talk about that. I really don't see that like as a common training method these days. Anyone that's listening, I'm going to encourage them to learn about it and give it a shot. And I still, there's a couple clients I still work with today, and the proof is in the pudding. So I remember Ernie Franz telling us about that too. He really was did you ever compete against Ernie?
I think I did. Yes, I did. What years? Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But you guys were in similar era lifters, I'm guessing.
He was a great friend too, great guy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think oftentimes, again, like talking to younger athletes and just, like my perspective on your guys' performances was you guys truly treated, you didn't lose sight of the fact that it was a competition. You guys pushed yourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, on paper, it might have looked like you were overtraining or something, but you guys consistently made progress. You pushed the envelope, you got stronger. And I remember like reading some of the old articles and seeing some of the videos of the old competitions. Like on the competition day, it was fierce, man. Guys were like, battling for their positions. So
what I think,
I think that.
Remember Lamar?
Go ahead.
He was a really good friend of mine, So before I pulled the world record in 1977 in Australia, Perth, Australia, right around, it's like for the world, he comes up to me, he says, "Hey, Vince, see that girl out there? Pull that, she wants to go out with you."
I wonder why Vince scratched from the meat.
So, we went out, I pulled the record, then went out. You know what? She's still friends with me on Facebook today.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's cool. Wow. So Mark, I mean, again, you got to remember, some of these younger lifters, they don't know these, are not familiar with these names. Can you tell us like what his weight class and approximately some of his lifts were?
Weight class. He was great. Many times, about 10 times world champion. He had, very numerous world records in his weight class.
Yeah. So what was his weight class, Vince?
123, I believe.
And do you remember what his best deadlift was?
Gosh, no, I don't. I used to, but not. I'm sorry, Corey, but
give me a ballpark, like something like 600 pounds or something like that, right?
Yeah, something or 600. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's hard to remember all the details of those numbers.
I'd have to look it up.
Do you remember Eddie Cohen when he was he's kind of like the first, Ed's probably, I don't know, 8-10 years older than me, something like that. I forget. But he was like a younger guy that kind of jumped into the scene when you guys were still banging it hard. Do you remember when Ed first came on the scene?
Retiring time. I was just about ready to retire when he came into the scene.
Yeah, tell us what you remember about Ed Cohen. And for anybody listening, Ed Cohen, he was like the Michael Jordan of powerlifting for a while. The guy was just ballistic. He was out
I
totally super heavyweights in a 220 weight class. So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, he was a great lifter.
yeah, I think so. I think Ed kind of like he was the first of those, the first like strength athlete that was kind of he represented kind of that between era. You guys,
Yeah,
it's like set the tempo, really put powerlifting on the map, so to speak. And then
yeah,
Ed came onto the scene, and he really like, I remember he was in like Sports Illustrated and like
yeah.
blowing out world records, and like no one could even like there was no competition for the man at one point in time. You
Yeah,
probably pushed him on deadlifts for your weight class, but as far
I
as like total and everything, he was like in a league of his own.
as far as numbers anymore, I don't remember. I used to remember, but now, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I hear. Like again, I'd like to bring attention back to like how like astronomically strong your deadlift numbers were, Vince, because we didn't really. I briefly mentioned them, but like those are just outlandish like feats of strength. Like an 880-pound deadlift, and what'd you weigh at the time when you pulled that 880, Vince?
880. I think I weighed 198.
Yeah, that is just.
Yeah,
I mean, mind blowing.
I did that in training. Wiki got me into doing the negative accentuated deadlifts and everything. And he's the one that weighed the, I mean, I still use his training techniques. You know what I mean?
Yeah, tell us some. If you could share some of those techniques, that'd be like
Oh yeah,
super appreciated.
get partials in all three lifts, in the bench, the squat, and the deadlift. Partial lifts. I
Right.
think partial going halfway down. I think my partial squat was something like 1,200 pounds.
Holy smoke!
And
So how would you set this up? I mean, so let's start with deadlift because that obviously was your forte. So how would you get the bar into position to begin the descending motion?
On the power rack, on the bar, on the pin. I think
Okay.
from just above the knee, I pulled 1,050, and from just in the middle of it, or just about below the knee, I pulled 950. You know what I mean?
Right. And then when you would do the negatives, like how would you get the bar into the upright position before you would carry it down?
Okay, well, I put it on a it was a pin there, and I take it off the and I do a slow negative down. What do you call those things? The pins, or I forgot what they're called now.
Yeah,
But
pins, I'm sure.
yeah, I would take it down and do a slow negative down to the floor. And also what I would do to help my start, I would do ankle deadlifts. I would stand on a block, so I would
Okay.
go down so that the bar was almost touching my foot.
Gotcha. The fancy term of the day is deficit deadlift. So
we call those ankle deadlifts back in the day.
Sure, I got you. So when you would do your heavy negatives, you would start in the upright position and carry it down. You recall the weights that you were using? Approximately. I mean, would it be like near your maximum amount of weight you could lift, over, less than? Like
we would, each week we would increase. You know what I mean? We used and I had my books, the cycle books that and I lost them. Them. I wish I would have found them. But
so in principle, so at the time you were doing an 800 plus pound deadlift, you were doing like slower negatives with 800 plus pounds.
Yeah, definitely. I do a slow negative first, and do sometime I would go below the almost the top of the foot and do it too. I did I did 800 where where the bar was just over the top of the foot.
That is pretty ridiculously strong. I'm impressed, man. Wow. Did you do any for any supplemental training, like direct grip work, neck work?
Oh, God.
Stuff like that.
My one, like I do with my clients in any sport, I have them train their body from all angles. The lats, the back, everything at different angles. You know what I mean? I did a lot of bodybuilding because I I would work the body from all angles so that you have to strengthen the whole entire body. Corey, it's like a foundation. If part of the foundation of a building is weak, eventually it will fall in. So you don't just train the muscles you involved in the lifts. You have to train it from your body from all different angles. So you strengthen the, I did a lot of bodybuilding. In fact, after I got through powerlifting, I won the bodybuilding contest. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because that was just a diet. I do the same exercise, but just a different diet.
Was there any, I'm just curious myself, is there any specific grip work that you did? Or do you think just all the deadlift training you did was sufficient for building your grip?
Oh, I do a lot of grip work too. Like I take, Vince had me doing, like I take a gripper and put a coin in there. It's coin, hold it till it fell out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You
remember, just by memory, I'm not looking for an exact time frame, but like but just for the listeners, I'm assuming you're talking nowadays it's called like a Captains of Crush or like those V-shaped.
Yeah. Then we had a lot of like a grip machine, like a wooden thing that you just push down. You know what I mean?
Okay. When you would do your like coin hold, was there a certain time that you would like set as a goal, like 2 seconds, 20 seconds? Like what kind of like?
As long as we could hold it. We have contests,
Sure. Then okay, so let's talk about other exercises that you think directly would help a power lift besides squatting, benching, and deadlifting, obviously. What are some exercises that you think are like really vital to supporting the process?
We did heavy lower back work. We did heavy ab work. Chest, lats, shrugs. I used to shrugs. I did shrugs. In fact, I was on TV one time. They came in, and when I was training in Akron, I was doing shrugs with 1,050. Set of 5.
That's ridiculous. So yeah, say you said heavy ab work. Give us an example of what one of your like ab workouts would look like.
Okay, what I would do, I put a weight on my chest. I would do crunches, with a weight.
Sure. So just basic ab work and make it a lot harder, basically.
And then you twist for the oblique, and then you do leg raises where I could put a strap underneath my, do a knee raise to work the lower abs.
Okay. What I mean? Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then lower back, we used to do, a lot of hyper extensions, with really heavy weights. I remember putting something on my neck, and I did hyper extensions of 225 pounds.
That's pretty cool.
When I was strong, my lower back was so you could put your fingers in there. My lower back was so thick. You know what I mean?
Right. And I Vince, I remember seeing like watching your deadlift style. From what I know, most conventional deadlifters I've seen have their toes pointed like either straight forward or maybe even slightly like pigeon-toed. I noticed your toes were flared out a little bit. Was that just like body mechanic? Was there like a secret to that, or is that just how your body worked best, or what?
I go by feel. You got to experiment, you got to go by feel with feels. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You got to go by what feel. That at the time, that's what felt the strongest when I was pointed out and my heels were almost touching.
Right. Whatever you did, it was the right thing. No doubt about that. I remember like Ernie Franz would tell us he'd have someone for a conventional deadlift, he would just have someone like jump, and whenever they landed, that's how he would like position their feet as a starting point. What do you think of that concept?
It probably works. I never tried it, but it probably works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he would preach to us like a good deadlift is a push more so than just a pull. Granted, it's a common term to throw around like it's time to do pulls or pull a big weight.
Yeah.
But Ernie would preach to us that you're deadlifting right and you start feeling the soreness like move through your lower body, not just your upper body.
Oh yeah, it's the whole body. You know what I mean? What I would do, go down there and do like before I did the pull, I would tense my whole body.
Okay.
Metric pull my whole body, and then I pull.
Gotcha.
that's what the negative accentuate did. I go down there and I was, I did stop and my whole body was tense from the negative.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a tricky thing to coach too. Like, do you have any like mental, like verbal cues or like, coaching points you can help people understand what that means? Like Ernie would always, talk about, getting tight, get your body like in a fierce position, like you're ready to take a punch before you start lifting.
Yeah,
like,
you hold before you pull. You know what I mean?
Right.
Go down.
Any specifics for practice you could help people understand?
I would go down there and do like an isometric pull before I did that. My whole body, intense my whole body before I started to pull.
Sure, I gotcha.
Did you feel like you were kind of having some steel columns down each side of your spine, for example?
I didn't understand. Say that again.
I mean, it's just a term that I was taught by the man who mentored me a long time ago. He said, for example, and this was mostly for the squat walkout, but it was a way to understand like being tight in general as well. That instead of just waddling out with the squat and being unbalanced and kind of dancing with the barbell because you weren't tight, you would have to like imagine that down the right and left side of your spine that you were having like some steel columns or steel bars down to keeping you tight. You know. I mean, did you feel anything like that maybe?
Yeah, we used to do squats on a power rack too, Yeah, where we do against the body going down.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was just some type of cue that might help you. I don't know. Explain it a little.
Everybody has the different ways of training, but you got to go with works for you. You know what I mean? You got to. Anybody could, like you got to go with what actually works for the individual. Works for you. How you feel. I got cut. Vince Lewicki, he coached me. He taught me that too. You know what I mean? And then he got lymphoma and he died in his 50s, early 50s. So I was on my own then, and I made my best lifts in a old garage with my training partners were 5 crazy people, 5 crazy guys.
That helps.
That helped.
Most definitely.
World championships, my 1977, 78. I trained in a garage, not a fancy gym. You know what I mean? And Vince Lewicki, I used a lot of his technique, but he wasn't around anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you took the torch and ran with it, no doubt about that.
Yeah, but I still followed his directive.
Right. Yeah. So that's actually a good point. Reminds me, like I tried telling people how critical like the environment is. Like the mindset, the culture, the reality that people accept within their own training group is, from my perspective, far more important than like the details of the program, because at the end of the day, you're trying to lift heavier weight. So having that psychological support and the intensity and the competitive environment, man, I don't know if like it's hard to like really explain how critical that is to like achieving top level performances. So definitely. You've been around the block a couple of times. If you could add a little more to that, Vince, I'd appreciate it also. Like, tell us about your training partners. You had 5 other, I don't know, there's 5 total or 5 other buddies, but
they're crazy nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
We go in a garage and we lift it. They're just 5 crazy guys. You know what I mean? And it's mental mindset, Corey, and it's the mental mindset that helps you achieve. There's so many different training programs out there, and people get results from seemingly opposite routines. And the common denominator is the mind.
Right.
You got to experiment what works. Maybe it works for me, but it wouldn't work for you. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do. I think this too, from my experience in the Iron game, Vince. Not unlike the story you shared, where you were picked on or bullied as a kid. Like so many great lifters have emotional damage or abuse or something that like has really caused an incredible amount of, I don't know if the pain tolerance is the word, or, something to kind of set them apart from the normal guy walking down the street, where they're willing to put their body through that sort of like, I think it was John Cole was interviewed by, he was like Wide World of Sports or something. And he was asked, how can you get your body to do something like this? And he said, well, I look at my limits as like, we all have our limits. And he compared it to like a circuit breaker. So what I want to do when I compete is I remove the entire circuit breaker and let the direct current flow. And I think for that, for someone that it's hard to teach that to someone that has not had some kind of great hardship or emotional turmoil or something to prove, or, the guys that seem to be like at the top of the game are the guys that really had something to prove, or some unfinished business or something to that effect. And what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, definitely. I had an inferiority complex since I was a child, and I overcompensated. That's how I achieved what I did.
I mean, talking to you now, it seems like you're pretty, it seems like you're at peace. You don't seem like a guy that's got a lot of inner turmoil. Is that accurate to say at this point in your life, Vince?
Oh no, I have a great wife, and I have what I want to do. I have a business. I'm training clients, and now I want to help people. This one gentleman, he was in his 80s, and he could hardly put his shoes on, and now he's in great shape, and he's going to be 87 this year.
Man, yeah, you know what? Actually, a couple people had messaged me about how to start like a strength training program, or what to do when you're starting later in life. Do you have any, like, is it any different than starting early in life? Like, what would you recommend for someone that's up there in years that has never done any strength training and wants to actually get going with it?
Yeah,
they can reach out to you for some coaching, but besides that, like, what do you have to say?
Yeah, you got to start where you got to analyze his strength, his any weakness or injuries of any sort, which I did. And now he's been with me about 5 years, and he's in great shape. I had a problem though. This gentleman brought his high school athlete, basketball players in there, and they were playing high school, and they were watching him, and he was stronger than them, and he had more endurance than they did.
Yeah, what age?
They were high school athletes.
And he was how old?
And he was 86.
Holy smoke! If someone is interested, do you have a phone number you'd like to give out, or how would someone get a hold of you if they do want to do some ongoing training with you, Vince?
We're going to be doing training with people. Doug Going, I don't know if you know him. Doug Going and Dave Yarnell, he wrote a book about me. We're going to be training people on online. Not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to train, because you could train people mentally.
I get that, man. I'm impressed. You have a phone number you'd like to give out, or like a social media plug or something like that?
Yeah, it's my phone number is 440-884-1556.
You go ahead and say it one more time in case someone didn't have a pen handy.
440-884-1556.
Cool. That's awesome.
Because I train people, I train high school athletes and college athletes and people who want to lose body fat. I have people who so much, and help them improve their performance in any sport. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I think you sparked like so much, like, the deep thought process in me just hearing you talk. I'm going to have more questions for you, and hopefully I can, have another conversation with you here in the next.
Yeah, that's fun. I'm really, because right now, I've accomplished what I had, what I wanted in my life, and what I want to do is help people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can feel that. That's awesome, man.
I want to help people. That's my main goal now, is to help people.
That's cool.
I trained this one gentleman. He was, thin, and he's when I knew his father, I trained his son out of in high school. Now he's going to be a police officer.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, I got you have a couple more questions specifically about your career when you were in your competitive heyday. What did your talk to us about your nutrition and supplementation, not to the nitty gritty of the exact everything you were doing, but as a general sense, like what was the kind of nutritional program you followed? And what supplements would you think like people might be overlooking?
When I had to lose weight, I follow a lower carbohydrate diet because I tend to be fat. I tend to be short, and I tend to, because I'm more of an endomorph. You know what I mean?
So even at your like competitive heyday, you were a lower carbohydrate diet?
Yeah, because I tend to get fat.
Okay, yeah. Elaborate on that. If you could, like, so what would your like daily, just in general sense, your daily or weekly like nutrition look like?
Yeah, I eat about you got to get when you're working out, you're breaking down muscle, and you got to supply the body with proteins. So your body can only digest 20 grams of protein, in a meal. So that's why you got to eat a lot of meals. So you got to have a lot.
You ate all day.
Oh yeah, you got to eat. So I would eat meat, and I'd eat egg whites in the morning, and I'd have protein shakes. And one thing I haven't seen them anymore. Desiccated liver tablets. Remember them?
I remember all the old school guys talking about them. They swore by them, man.
I used to chew them up.
Wow. Okay. I bet it tasted wonderful.
Oh my God. Yeah. They used to desiccated liver tablets. Yeah.
Yeah. Ernie Franz, he would, that was a consistent like recommendation of his, desiccated liver. Any other supplements that you guys thought were effective back in the day?
What I found, creatine was good, and creatine coming to later on. The creatine helps you put, helps your strength also.
Gotcha. So basically, carry around a piece of raw steak, eat on it all day, chew on desiccated liver tablets, and swallow some creatine.
Oh, I did one time. I eat just for
right. Well, that's it. Give me your feedback on this, Vince. I found personally, like if my carbohydrates dropped too low, it felt like my strength levels were really like, I'm not saying to say crash, but long story short, when I was in my competitive prime, my carbohydrate intake was really, really like high. I was eating like the first like Monday and Tuesday, like 11,000 calories a day. Obviously, a lot of it is carbohydrate intake.
Yeah.
So is it basically, like you said earlier, like boils down to like your individual characteristics is probably what you're going to say, I'm guessing.
Yeah, when I carbohydrates, I like to eat the healthy carbohydrates like fruits and vegetables, stuff like that. I have a addiction now, Reese cups.
Well, gosh darn, it doesn't make you special. I think everybody has an addiction to those.
Oh my God, I can't stop eating them.
Right, I hear you.
And then when I after I made weight, I could eat oh my God, a half gallon of butter pecan ice cream too.
I'm getting hungry.
Oh my God. But I have and then chocolates and peanut butter is my addiction. I can't, if I start eating them, I can't stop. So that's why I got to stop,
I hear you. Hey, Vince, when you were competing, were there any, was female powerlifting, do you recall when it like first was established, like a women's division?
Yeah, I remember that. You remember Pam Meister?
The name is familiar, but I don't remember any details. I remember
with her in Canton. I go out there and train with her in Canton. I dated her, and we were the first. We pulled as a man, and she weighed 105 pounds. I weighed 198. We pulled 1,000 pounds.
Oh, that's pretty awesome, man.
We did that play in Canton over there in a mall, and I still have the thing, a world record for man and woman deadlift, 1,000 pounds.
That's pretty cool.
I still have it. I still have this.
Does the name Mara Sternberg ring a bell?
Oh yeah.
Well, she was tough, man, because she used to train down at Ernie's gym, and she's a great competitor, as I recall. I know she squatted north of 500, and she was like, we all had like she just like carried like respect with her. Yeah. And like I remember like if you got a squat that thumbs up on depth from Maris, you know you hit a good squat, man, because she was a stickler.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
Do you remember any other female power lifters from your day that
Remember Mary Jeffries?
Oh yeah, I do remember that name.
And
Absolutely.
I was inducted in the Hall of Fame with Kazmaier, Don Reinhold, Larry Pacifico, and Mary Jeffries in
Okay.
1998. And we were inducted in the York Barbell Hall of Fame.
Do you remember well, congratulations on that, by the way. Do you remember Ernie's wife, Diane Franz, when she was competing? Did that overlap with your training time or competing time?
Too many of her lifts, Corey, I probably used to, but
Yeah, I just remember running into a gentleman and he took I think he said he took second. I forget the exact weight class, 132. He said I took second to Diane Franz. So if I recall, I think she pulled around 400 in that weight class.
Yeah.
Something outlandish.
Yeah. I remember her. And I used to remember all this, but now
Oh yeah, in the big picture of life, not that critical anyway. But one thing I've noticed a big trend in the last maybe decade or so. I couldn't spit exact numbers at you, but the amount of female lifters that are really dedicated to the sport is huge now, at least compared to when I was younger.
Yeah.
Have you seen that trend as well?
Actually, to be honest, I don't follow it too much anymore. There's so many different federations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good for you. That's just doing your own thing. But I still kind of follow. I just like to stay somewhat in tune with the numbers. And
I follow. I train. I don't train power right now. I train powerlifters mentally, but in my gym, I train mostly athletes in different sports.
Sure, I understand. I got you. But I remember Ernie Franz. Again, my growing up in Aurora, Illinois, that was where we trained, and that was he was the man. So what he said carried a lot of weight. And I remember him saying years and years ago, the future of powerlifting is going to be when women really embrace the sport. And he was a big, he thought it was just, he loved the sport for anybody. Just whether you're an athlete, wanted to be a serious competitor, just a way to maintain your basic strength.
Yeah.
But his prediction was accurate. He thought the female side of powerlifting would really take off. And it has, man. I mean, there's a lot of meets. You see just as many or more female lifters as you do men.
Yeah.
And I remember already telling us that was absolutely going to be the case, and he was right.
Yeah, definitely.
So, anyway,
we have about 5 minutes left, and I was wondering if you could tell us, Vince, a little bit more about that meditation and that trance you mentioned at the beginning. You do a lot of hypnosis type of stuff, right?
Yeah, the meditation we do is I do mental training myself too. And all my clients that want, I go by their goals, what they want to achieve. My one of the techniques I'm studying now is dynamic spin release. I have them get into a relax and visualize themselves performing at their best, performing best, and I have them take their performance and put it outside their body, and now make it spin. Make a spin. Which way is it spinning? Sometimes it's spinning clockwise, sometimes it's spinning clockwise. And I have them increase spin, increase it, until it gets to a maximum. And then I have fist. That's a new technique, dynamic spin release. I'm experimenting with now.
And
you talk, Matthias. I'll shut up.
Yeah.
No problem, Corey. So what you say it's spin clockwise and counterclockwise. What is spinning?
It's called dynamic spin release.
Yeah, but what is it that is doing the spinning?
You visualize yourself. You feel yourself performing at your best, and you put it out. You see yourself performing at your best. You put it outside your body, and generally it's spinning in one direction, either clockwise or counterclockwise.
Oh, so I visualize myself spinning.
Yeah, and then you increase it, the spin. Increase the. You put your finger out there and increase the spin. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
it's hard to take, would I, not in person, but, but I'm just,
Oddly enough, my brain's a little whacked out anyway, but for some reason it makes a lot of sense to me. I can like just practice a little bit. I'm just thinking about squatting and seeing myself like in a position of like my entire body just like spinning radically fast and then like going the opposite direction while doing a squat. And for some reason, it's like supercharging my body just thinking about it.
yeah. The spin. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let's get our minds right, man. This, start talking to like colleagues and friends, the art of mental training and like getting your mind right for whatever you want to achieve in life is like honestly, Vince, like the message you shared today ties in so well to like the concept of our show, man, because it is about the mind and getting your mind right and getting things aligned to like achieve things, overcome things, and just be the best human being you can possibly be. So I think your input was fantastic, man.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it, guys. I really appreciate it. It was an honor to be on the show there.
Like, it's an honor to have you, brother. Like, we appreciate you. It was cool.
Yeah. Only a few, I have some people achieve their goals. I would love that. I mean, because that's my goal now, to help others achieve their goal.
Right. Yeah, I feel charged up, man. I learned a lot just talking to you this last hour, whatever the heck it's been.
Yeah, almost an hour, 55 minutes.
Matthias, do you have any like final questions or thoughts or anything?
Yeah, how did you put yourself into a trance, and what is your opinion on focusing your reflection on your regrets as a way to motivate yourself to minimize regrets?
Put you in a trance for the last few minutes and show you how I did it.
Well, I'm asking you, are you offering to put me in a trance?
Put anybody and show you what I did. Could I do that? And I'll show you what I do to my clients.
Yeah,
let's do it.
As long as I can still go to sleep in half an hour from now.
No, it's only a few minutes.
Okay.
Well, I deadlift 950 in 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm kidding, but yeah, I'm very curious.
Let's try it.
Okay, you could record it and I'll show you what to do. I'll have you performing at your best. I'm not going to say what sport it is. I'll just say, see yourself, hear yourself, and then what I mean. Could I do that?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's through audio. We don't have the video function right now.
A relaxed state.
You want video?
Not going to be what I do. They're regular. All right. If you're tempted to eat something, you know what I mean? Or no, I'll just do it for your performance. All right.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Get in a relaxed position, either sitting or laying down.
Yeah.
Inhale for the count of 3. Exhale for the count of 6. Inhale for the count of 3. Exhale for the count of 6. As you inhale, think relax. As you exhale, think deep relax. You're starting to feel very relaxed. I want you now to visualize a wave of relaxation washing down your body. It's going through your head, your neck, your shoulders, your arms. Going through your arms into your torso, through your torso into your hips, through your hips to your legs, washing all the tension into your feet and into the earth as you become very relaxed. You're now at the bottom of an escalator. This escalator is going up into the clouds. As you easily step on the escalator, you feel it by going up and up, higher and higher, more and more relaxed, going up higher and higher, more and more relaxed. You go up, up, up your escalator, going up higher and higher. As you near the top, you see a nice soft white cloud. As you easily step off onto the cloud, you feel your body floating in the air, floating, floating, floating on your cloud. All your cares, all your worries, floating on your body as you effortlessly float, float, float on your cloud. Enjoy the pleasant feeling. Okay, it's time to come down off your cloud, time to come down. As you easily step back on the escalator, you feel your body going down and down, deeper and deeper, more and more relaxed. You're going down and down, deeper and deeper, more and more relaxed. You go down, down, down your escalator, going down and down. As you near the bottom, you see a neon sign with the word relax, flashing on and off. Relax, relax, relax. I'm going to now count from 10 to 1. For each one, you've been extremely relaxed state. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very, very relaxed now, very relaxed. Whenever you wish to enter this relaxed state, put your thumb and forefinger together of your left hand. When you do so, you'll fall back in a relaxed state. Then make sure you are not driving or doing anything that requires your attention. I want you now to think of yourself as performing at your best. Visualize and think of yourself as performing at your best. See what you will see. See yourself performing at your best. Visually, what are you going to see when you're performing your best? Background scenery, other people, competitors. Visualize yourself competing at your best. Training partners. Now, what are you going to hear? What are the sounds you're going to hear when you're performing your best? Background noise. Other people speaking to you or to each other. And when you're performing your best, what's going to be your internal dialogue? What you'll be saying to yourself. Now, I want you to fully associate yourself and feel yourself achieving your best. Feel yourself achieving your best. When you can actually feel yourself achieving your best, clench the fist of your right hand. Very good. Release your right hand. This now is your homework. When you go to bed at night, before you go to clench that right fist, feel yourself achieving your best. When you wake up in the morning before you get out of bed, clench that right fist, feel yourself achieving the best. And while you're training or competing, clench that right fist and feel yourself achieving your best. Okay, I'm going to now count from 1 to 10. I reach 10, you can open your eyes, feel very refreshed, but full of energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Open your eyes. How'd you like that?
Yeah, Vince, that's absolutely freaking powerful, man.
Good. That's how I train my athletes. That's how I train my people that want to lose body fat and anything, that you want to achieve. That's, legitimate.
Can I ask you
pretty
something,
cool.
Vince? So,
Good.
I mean, it was nice to sit and feel some relaxation and stuff like that. But the like when I've done meditation with people and the response they give to the meditation and how they say it improves their lives seems to be a lot more than what I experience. And I'm wondering, do you think that maybe I need to be better at focusing while I'm doing it? Since it's like a limited version of like the effect I'm getting.
Yeah, I don't know. What you got to do is you got to get all three forms. You got to visualize, you see it, hear it, and feel it.
Yeah, I may not be doing that well enough, to be honest.
Everybody's either. That's why I don't read too many books now. I'm more auditory. I listen to books.
Mm.
I think having a clear understanding of what your goal is very, very important too, because if you're going to focus, like as Vince is telling you to see yourself like performing at your best, having a clear understanding of what that specific performance is, correct me if I'm wrong, Vince, is very important also, because that to me, I do have a very clear goal of where I want to see myself performing at a very high level.
Yeah.
And as you're going through it, Vince, I definitely like could see the process taking place. So
Definitely.
personally, I had just done some goal setting like within the last 24 hours. So it was very fresh in my head. So the timing was pretty awesome for me.
Very good. Very good.
So just doing this meditation that you just shared with us is enough for you to fall into a trance where you don't even know what you're doing. You have to have people help you get to the barbell even.
Yeah, there's so many different. This is just one method. There's so many different methods mind training that have helped other people. I'm just saying the ones that have helped me in my, but that's not to say that's the best. It's one. There's so many.
Yeah, it's one of many that can get you in that deep trance.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your opinion on like people who use meditation in the way that they reflect on all the things they've done that they regret, or all their regrets in general, as a way to like optimize their mindset in regards to minimize regrets by doing all the right little things every day that they need to do in order to achieve their goals?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a powerful idea, or do you think it's kind of like a self-destructive approach?
Yeah, you don't want to think of something you think of what you want to do, not what you don't want to do.
Yeah, I'm with Vince, man. I'll tell you what, I'd probably end up drinking a bottle of whiskey and freaking doing some stupid shit. And I thought about all my regrets, man. That'd be a never-ending thought process.
Yeah,
that was about the future and kicking ass and moving forward, man.
You're gonna go back and do them again if you think of your regrets.
Yeah, let's put those away, man. Personally.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying, because I do find power in it. I do use it sometimes to help me, but I just know there are some people out there who they may live extraordinary lives and do this a lot, but I just wonder, like, can it really be for like just the average person, or is it really an unhealthy way to live? Because these people who use it, they may still be in pain that they didn't have to be otherwise, is what I'm thinking, or at least wondering.
Yeah, I'm going to side with Vince on this. Thinking about what you want to accomplish in the future, forget about the regrets, man.
Yeah, think about if you concentrate on negative, you get them back.
Yeah, I think it is about like being very mindful of how you think of things and not like dwell on the past,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I learned think of that. Stay in the present.
Yeah, definitely. So we are actually going past an hour now. We are like at least 5 minutes past the hour. So I think we better wrap up now, Corey.
Okay. Hey, Vince, man, thank you so much for like taking the time to do this show with us. I learned a lot. Hope the listeners learned a lot. Matthias, I'm sure you pulled a lot out of it also.
I definitely did, yeah.
Well, who could hear this now?
Well, anybody listening to Rap Feed Radio, and this show will be archived on the Corey Maselli Show website, which isn't up yet, but we'll have it on YouTube. I'll send you a link to it when it airs next week, Vince.
Yeah.
So, and
I could, I'll get you. I'll put it on because I have almost 5,000 friends on Facebook now. So
yeah, we'll get an MP3 file. And we'll shoot it to you. You can share it with anyone you want.
I'll share it to my clients. I'll share it to everyone on Facebook. How's that sound?
That's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, all right. So we're gonna summarize today's episode. Get your mind right. Go out there and kick ass, take names, and focus on forward moves at all times.
Yeah.
Vince, thank you so much. Matthias, Sexy Viking, thank you. Any parting thoughts from you? Vince, any parting thoughts?
Believe and achieve.
Boom, right there.
Yeah.
That is a wrap for today. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Straight to the point.
Bye.